Okay, so I don't know what the hell I just watched, people. I have no fucking. I mean, I know what I just watched, but I don't know what the fuck that was. I'm talking about Fast X. Okay. Woo! Which is the Fast and the Furious 10, right? If you didn't understand. It is directed by Louise Leterrier, um, and it was written by Dan Mazou, Justin Lin, with some help from Zach Dean. The film is produced by Samantha Vincent, Neil H. Mortz, Justin Lin, Jeff Kirschenbaum, Vin Diesel, executive produced by Mark Bombach, David Kane, Joseph M. Carcerillo Jr., Amanda Lewis, Chris Morgan, and Peter Walter Sola. Line produced by Eric Poletti and Sophia Nohanaha. I butchered some of those, ain't gonna lie. Brian Tyler handled the music, Stephen F. Winden, cinematography. So Dylan Highsmith, Kelly Matsumoto, Corbin Meh, and Laura Yanovich edit the piece. Susie Figgis and Kirsty Kinnear were on casting duties. Jan Rolfs and Swaj Dakat were down with production design. Ravi Bansal, Dan Clay, Brunella De Cola, Miranda Keeble, Chloe Calista, Samuel Leake, Simon Maguire, Andrew Palmer, Izona Rigu, Alicia Scales, Andy Young took care of art direction. Set decoration, we have Kimberly Fay, Veronica Lopez, Catherine Pyle, and Paolo Rutier on set decoration. Costume design is Sanja Mikovic Hayes. And our cast. Well, people, we have got, there's a lot of people up in this, right? But Vin Diesel is back as Dominic Toretto. Michelle Rodriguez is Letty. Right, Jordana Brewster is Dom's sister, Mia. We've then got Tyrese Gibson as Roman, Ludacris, Chris Bridges, aka, as Taj, and Natalie Emmanuel as Ramsey. All right, there's Jason Statham as Shaw. All right, we got Helen Mirren as his mother, Queenie. There is John Cena as Jacob Toretto. Yeah, that I was baffled. We've got Sung Kang as Han, Brie Larson as Tess, Scott Eastwood as Little Nobody. We've got Charlize Theron as Cypher. There's Jason Momoa as Dante Reyes. Alan Richson is Ames. Luis da Silva Jr. is Diego. Right? Daniela Melchior is Isabel. Leo Abel Perry is Little Brian. Okay, so that's Dom's son. But not from Letty, I have discovered. That is from um Isabel's sister. Yeah. Um, we've got so Jacob, Dom, and Mia's grandmother, Arbaletia, is played by Rita Moreno. Um, Dante's father, Herman Reyes, is played by Joaquim de Almeida. Um, we got Pete Davidson as Bowie. We have got I think that's all our main people. Yeah, that's our main crew. We get some people like Isabel Bernardo is Beatrice. Um yeah. I mean, there's some other people. There's a lot of other people. Okay, so the gist of the film, right, is this: the end of the road begins. Fast X, the 10th film in the Fast and Furious saga, launches the final chapters of one of cinema's most storied and popular global franchises, now in its third decade and still going strong with the same core star cast and characters as when it began. Over many missions and against impossible odds, Dom Toretto and his family have outsmarted and outnerved and outdriven every foe in their path. Now they confront the most lethal opponents they've ever faced. A terrifying threat emerging from the shadows of the past, who's fueled by blood, revenge, and who is determined to shatter this family and destroy everything and everyone that Dom loves forever. In 2011's Fast Five, Dom and his crew took out nefarious Brazilian drug kingpin Herman Reyes and decapitated his empire on a bridge in Rio de Janeiro. What they didn't know was that Reyes' son Dante witnessed it all and has spent the last 12 years masterminding a plan to make Dom pay the ultimate price. Dante's plot scatters Dom's family from Los Angeles to the catacombs of Rome, from Brazil to London, and from Portugal to Antarctica. New allies will be forged and old enemies will resurface. But everything changes when Dom discovers that his own 8-year-old son is the ultimate target of Dante's vengeance. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Now, boy, right? There's several things in that synopsis that I will, question, right? When it says it's the final chapter of one of cinema's most storied franchises. Really? Really? That's what you would say storied, because I do not know about that. I mean, definitely not. Right? It's the storied means celebrated in or associated with stories or legends. This franchise, look, people do enjoy it. It's made a bank load of money for sure. It is not celebrated, it's not held up as being this, you know, example of incredible filmmaking. It's not that. So, listen, if they had said fast paced, action packed, explosion heavy, boom, you could be like, yeah, I get that. Storied, no, And the other thing is, it's like, oh, when Dom finds out his son is the final target, I'm like, you gotta be a moron if you didn't work that out, right? As soon as he knows it's Dante, right? And Dante has said so many times, "You killed my dad. I'm gonna kill you." What do you think he's gonna do, right? Dom don't have a dad, so he gonna go after the people he like. It's pretty obvious. It's obvious, man. But I think one of the big problems with this film for me, right, is what they want to, what they stated in the whole synopsis, right? When they say, and still going strong with the same core cast and characters as when it began. There's a problem right there because they're doing all of these insane things, all of these crazy missions, and they're coming out unscathed, right? This core crew are fine. That's where it gets ridiculous because you're just like, they're not surviving all of those things, right? And I know that at one point, right, Michelle Rodriguez Letty was supposedly dead. Then she turns up in the fifth film, I think. Which I think the fifth was the last one I saw, right? Because I remember seeing an advert. They were talking about one of the others, where I think they were in Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, and they drove from one tower into the next tower. And I was just like, I'm not watching that. That's ridiculous, right? Just because that glass is mad thick, right? It's super thick glass. So to speed you would need to get through one panel, right? Now, you've smashed through one panel of glass. So that is slowing down your, acceleration now. You've got no road for traction. So there's no way you would even come close to breaking through the next window. So it was just that was just like, I can't do this. These films are dumb. And then I heard in another one they go into space. What is that? What is that? I just, oh man. So listen, there's a lot of stuff that I'm watching this and I'm like, wait, what? Huh? Like when John Cena turns up and then it's declared that he's Dom's brother. I was just like, wait, what? just just researching this, getting all the information for the website. I then see that little B Brian. I just little bit just ugh, so dumb. But Brian isn't Letty's kid, right? That's from someone else. So a chick that I think got killed in the previous film, like, was we meet her sister, who's also a road racer, right? So there's a load of stuff which I'm watching, and I'm just like, I have no clue what. Like Helen Mirren's character is Shaw's mum. I, I mean, I don't know. All I know, Shaw, is that he was in a film, Hobbs and Shaw, right? That's all. I haven't watched those films, so there's a lot that went over my head, but I don't really think it added much to the story. Now, I'm sure when certain people show up, right, like my girl on the submarine at the end, everyone's gonna be like, yo, you know what I mean? A bit like in a superhero film when someone you thought dead turns up or you didn't know was gonna come in. I get that, right? When Gandalf appeared at the end of you know what I mean? Lord of the Rings. It's like, yo, I mean, I didn't know that was happening because I'd read the book so many times, but right, there's those shock moments. So I get it. I get it. But I don't think it added anything to the story. Now I checked it out because so many people were saying this was great, right? It was a huge film last year in 2023. So I figured I'd give it a watch. But man, I'm like, yo, this is some insane shit. Just because, right? The word family got dropped so many times. So many times. And for what? For no real reason. And in contexts where people like that person ain't saying that shit. Like, what are we doing? Right? It's just stupid. And then it just starts off with some dumb, stupid fight kind of thing. Not physical fight, but just dumb, you know, this bickering nonsense between who is like Roman and Taj with Ramsey in the middle. Right? It was just like, what? And Tyrese Gibson, he's not the best actor, right? I mean, you don't have to be a good actor to be in the Fast franchise, really. Like, no character is three-dimensional, right? There is no depth here. We are swimming in a puddle, essentially, right? But that's all good. That's fine. But he acts like a buffoon, right? Now, that's the character. I get it. But they're arguing about him being the leader of this mission. And you're just like, wait, you're doing all of this stuff. Now you're government agents, essentially. You're not trusting a mission to this guy, right? And it's just like, oh, we had to give it to him. Like he's been here for so long. Like, no, you don't. That's not how you get like missions. You know what I mean? Like, it would go to the person who is strategic, can act, can act on their feet, right? As everyone's that's who leads. So straight away, it was just like, what is this nonsense? Then we go through this ridiculous sequence in Rome with a bomb that is round, right? It's rolling through the street. It's catching on fire. It's getting knocked and dinged and clanged all over the shop, which you're just kind of thinking, well, you're telling me this bomb ain't just going to go off, right? Listen, technology can be faulty. And if something's getting jiggled and jangled all over the shop, wires can go piply popply plop, things go bang, right? So, you know what I mean? Just the fact that this ain't blowing and they're using the cars to knock it all over the place, you're just like, oh my, oh my, right? You've got people getting blown up and thrown away. Like, we don't see Scott Eastwood again. He doesn't die, but we don't see him again. You're scratching your head like, yo, this makes no sense. It's just Letty's on a shitty bike, but she's keeping track of everyone. It's some stupid things. Then you just wonder to yourself, wait, you're telling me no one did intel? Right? Intel would have probably straight away told them that this was not a real mission. Right? So you're just like, what is this? What is this nonsense? Then everything that just spins out of that, I'm just like, what? Right? We got people making these statements. It's statement heavy. right? People aren't having real conversations, right? It's all meant to be these like stoic monologues, you know? And you're just like, shut up. What are we doing? There's a bit with Charlize Theron, her character Cypher having this huge fight with people in body armor. And that's not the only one of these, right? But she's fighting all of these people. Firstly, she lets them know how she's turned their armor and weapons off. I'm like, there's no need to do that, right? Because now you've told them and they can turn it back on. Like, why would you do that? You wouldn't. You would just do it and then fuck people up, right? But you've got this one woman against, I don't know how many dudes there are in this spot, like 10 or something. And she's punching and kick and surviving. And you're just like, yo, just one hit, you're getting fucked up. Just one, you're getting fucked up. But she's cool. Right. So you're just like, what is this? There's another bit later on when Mia, right, Jordana Brewster's character, again, fighting dudes in body armor, right? So you're assuming it's at least Kevlar, which stops bullets. But a dude has her around the neck, right? She bites his arm, he yells and lets her go. They're wearing body armor. Right? This stuff is meant to prevent bullets and knives, but it can't stop teeth. It can't stop teeth. What is that? What is that? Right? You've got Letty getting like hit in the arm's compromised, but she can climb up a tunnel? Huh? Like this it's because they split these films into two, right? So this was the first part. It's all filler. It's all filler, right? So much of this doesn't need to be, it doesn't do anything, right? It doesn't do anything. And there's like this twist in there, which you just roll your eyes because you'll be like, yeah, obviously. Obvious. I don't know who this thing is meant to be fooling, but right? Everything that does go down, it's kind of like, I mean, you can't predict exactly where someone's going to be, right? So there's these crazy things and like explosions going off at the perfect timing, and you're just like, okay, for that to work, you'd have to know that the car is going to be there at the exact second. And there's just no way you can do that. No way. Right? At the very start, there's Momoa's in it. And we have this whole sequence where you're just like, I mean, it's Aquaman. Is Aquaman the villain of this film? Right? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This ridiculous bit with Dom's son, where you're just like, yo, only be dead. Only be dead. And the thing Jacob does, no. Why has, what's her name? Nobody's daughter, Tess. That's it. Why is Tess Brie Larson? Why is she carrying around a ting? Don't need to. Don't need to. How are bombs placed on a cars that were just about to be like? It's an excuse for explosions, right? Silly fights, all of that jazz. That's what this is. Now, if you like that, boom, you are on to a winner here, right? And this is the thing. The Fast franchise ain't for me. I Cars do nothing for me, right? The only like I can look at a car and go, that's some nice design work, or I like that color. But cars don't excite me, man. Like I'm basically blind. I can't drive, right? And I don't think I would trust myself in a driverless car because I still feel you probably need to see, right? So these type of films, I have not crazy interest. The story is paper thin. Characters are just again puddle deep. That's what I feel anyway. But if you love these films, and I know people that love these films, which, hey, all power to you, man. Like we all like different things, right? So if you love the franchise, you're gonna be on this film like it's crack, right? Boom. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. Like I just thought it was a mess. It was a mess. Didn't make any sort of sense. No sense. So many things could have been prevented, right? I mean, come on, what are we doing? The fights are ridiculous. You know, we just shoot someone in the head, all of this nonsense. There's all this talk when you're just like, people ain't talking, they're just getting down to business, right? It's just predictable. And it didn't need, I guarantee, watch the second part of this film when it drops, and you could probably go, you could have made one film. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. I bet it could have just been one fucking film. Just chop out all the nonsense, you know? But it is what it is. So Fast 10, Fast X, it's out. It's on all your favorite VODs. If you love the franchise, you will love this amped up explosion fest. So there you go, people. Just my thoughts, baby. And my thoughts are like, yo.